Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Lucore Automotive. As you can tell, I have my newish, older, new Volvo wagon behind me on the rack here with my MSW wheels straight out of the mid-90s. I'm not sure if you can tell this or not, but these are not very shiny. They've lost all of their luster. In a previous video, we did a wheel cleaning comparison video to see what we could do to strip all of this stuff off, the brake dust, the years of corrosion and junk that's been built up on those wheels. And we had a couple of things that did pretty well, but in the end of the day, they still look terrible. These wheels did have, at one point in time, paint on them. We, as far as we can tell, think these were actually painted white. So they kind of would have gone with the car. But again, there's absolutely no finish left on these. It's just bare, raw aluminum that looks terrible. The barrels are horrible. The spokes are bad. Everything's just bad. So, now we have a vapor honing cabinet. We figured, what's the first thing we should do that's kind of a big project? And I decided it needs to be my wheels. So, I'm gonna bust these wheels off, take the tires off, take the valve stems out, toss them in the vapor honing cabinet, and see what's what. See if we can bring these guys back to life. If you're interested, stay tuned. They're actually a pretty good set of wheels, and honestly this is probably the best one as the right rear one, but they're generally pretty terrible. So what we're going to try to do here is we're going to clean these wheels up as best we possibly can, and then see whether or not that finish, when you're kind of almost peening it with the glass beads, if it stays nice and bright or if it corrodes real quickly. This does have brand new brakes on all four corners, so brake dust is not real terrible. And I want to really see, honestly, what we could do here. Is this something that is a potential, I don't want to say a service that we can provide in the future, but something that we can do for customers. So first off, you do it on your own stuff. Because if I ruin my wheels, it is what it is. If I ruin somebody else's wheel, that's a lot bigger of a problem. But these MSWs are kind of an iconic 1990s wheel. So hopefully we can get them back to some kind of a pretty situation. All right, now that I got these things off the car, you can see the state that they're actually in. The lip is pretty badly pitted, and this is after a pretty extensive amount of cleaning. This one you can see on the actual face, I mean, there's just nothing left. It's just bare, dingy metal. Again, barrels are bad, lips are bad. You can see on this one, same situation. There's no shiny left on this at all. Same thing here. Just flat, dingy, nothing there. Nothing there. So, we're gonna break these things down and yeah, next step, break them down. Wheels are broken down. You can again see these boys have seen better days. Into the bath with you. Alright, here's where we're starting from. So far, definitely impressed. The edges of the wheels and the lip have turned out fantastic on both of the wheels I've already shot. Very, 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 very happy with how these look. I mean, they are unbelievably smooth and very nicely cleaned up. Especially compared to what they were. What you may or may not be able to see on camera is these wheels were definitely painted in the past. And you can see this is kind of the silver of bare aluminum here. This is still that really, really dull surface. Now these, I believe, were painted white. I believe they painted the spokes and the barrels white. You can also see this is dingy as well. And it's on all these wheels. So like this is a nice silver bare aluminum. This is a very dingy flat. Looks like it's still got kind of some primer on it. Now the media that we have in our vapor honing cabinet is a fine glass bead. It is designed for stripping just a little bit off and giving us that really nice, clean, polished look. But it's not really a stripper. It's not really designed for that. It's not designed to peel paint off. And we put it in the walnut cabinet, and again, it's not really designed to do what we're asking it to do. It's not really strong enough to be able to strip whatever type of paint they used on this off. You can see on this wheel a little bit cleaner, a little bit better image. You can see how like this is actual nice aluminum, and this is, you know, whatever that paint is that they used on there. Now this obviously has not been through the vapor honing cabinet yet. You can see how bad those lips are, and that all will polish out and clean out nicely. But this is the question, is can we figure out a way to get this off? What we're gonna try first is gonna be some paint stripper and see if we can get that off here. So that's actually what I'm doing right now, is I've got a paint stripper on this, and we're gonna see whether or not this one cleans up, because it was essentially just like those other two, and see if it strips this stuff off. Otherwise, we're gonna have to get a little bit more medieval and maybe load something like an aluminum oxide in that other cabinet to see whether or not we can strip these down, because I'm happy with the way the lips turned out. Those look beautiful, but I'd really like those 5 spokes to look really pretty as well. Whether or not we get there, we'll see, but that's why you do this kind of stuff. We're learning as you guys are watching. We don't know all the answers. This is 100% me learning, us learning to use this thing. And yes, I am using proper protection, because this stuff is caustic and aggressive, and I don't want it in my eyes or my face. I'm too pretty for that, and I like seeing what I'm doing in my life. So always wear protection, kids. We'll see. Scrubbed it, rinsed it. It certainly seems to have taken at least a little bit of that stuff off. I don't know. Toss them in the cabinet and we'll see what's what. Isn't learning fun? Not bad. Well, that is certainly a whole lot better than how they looked when we started this process. Now, there's definitely not perfect. As I've mentioned throughout the video, those center 5 spokes have certainly been coated with something. I initially expected them to be painted, but from what I'm experiencing here, I seem to think this is more of a powder coating issue. And clearly our media is not capable of breaking that up. Even paint thinner wouldn't break that up, not really. Went over them with a brass wire brush. It still didn't even really break that stuff up. So that is definitely a whole lot harder compound to break up. And the media that we have in both that cabinet, which is a walnut blast cabinet, and the vapor honing cabinet with the fine glass bead in it, clearly can't do any damage to that. Now, that actually kind of makes an interesting point, and it's not a total failure, it is a learning point, because we didn't damage the paint on these at all, but we cleaned up all the aluminum, which is a good thing, to know, because that means we can hit a set of painted wheels with polished aluminum lips and not damage the paint, which is a very, very good thing. I guess the next thing is going to be to grab myself a wheel that's already been painted and that's scuzzy on the barrel and see if we can clean it up. So I'm going to toss these things on our Hunter balancer, get them rebalanced up, get them back on the car. We'll wrap this up. Then I can go home because it's Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday. Yay, go Bengals! Hopefully go Bengals. Well, there you go. Are they 100% better? No, absolutely not. Are they a heck of a lot better than they were? Oh yeah, absolutely. This thing had unbelievably corroded wheels. I don't know when they were painted. I don't know when they were done last, but it's been a really long time since these things have seen any love whatsoever. The lips turned out amazing. The barrel's cleaned up really, really well. The only thing that I didn't really get to touch and make look the way I want it to are those spokes. And again, I think they've been powder coated, which we don't have at the moment the ability to strip off that powder coating. And I would imagine if we could strip that powder coating off and we can expose these spokes, they're going to be perfect aluminum, in which case we could hit them with our cabinet and they're going to, turn out absolutely perfect. So, that's a story for another day. Maybe we'll come back to these wheels, but the good news is we proved that cabinet can absolutely make a pair of wheels come back very, very well. It's also safe enough to be able to use on paint, because even on this stuff, it didn't ding it at all. Even if I tried to really, really work on it, it did nothing at all. So that's a good thing. It means we can work on wheels that are, or materials that are painted as well as not painted. So cool, cool, cool. And yes, I just spent a whole bunch of time cleaning my wheels and tires in the middle of winter in Ohio. Don't look to me for advice. Anyway, hopefully you guys have stuck around this far. If you have, please click on the like button. Drop me a comment in the comment section below. What do you think so far of our vapor honing cabinet? What would you like to see us do next? Olga the Battle Wagon here has an interesting future ahead of her. Very interesting future ahead of her. Right now it's still my daily driver, but that probably is going to change rather soon. She's going to become an organ donor, and then she's going to come back bigger, better, badder, louder, and much, much faster than ever before. Anyway, thanks for being here. We appreciate you. Click like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. We'll see you on the next one. Take care.